Again, I wonder if any of this sounds familiar. A young woman who is a paediatric nurse is arrested and accused of killing babies who were in her care at a hospital. She is eventually convicted of 7 murders and sentenced to life imprisonment. Then questions begin to be asked about the statistical evidence used to obtain her conviction. I'm not, however, talking about Lucy Letby, but rather a Dutch woman called Lucia de Burke, who was convicted under very similar circumstances as Lucy Letby of almost identical crimes. Lucia de Burke spent 5 years in prison before she was freed and found to be innocent. In the description to this video I give a link to the Wikipedia article about the case, which I am surprised has not been more widely mentioned following Lucy Letby's conviction a year ago. I'm intrigued to see the growing dissatisfaction with the verdict in Letby's case, and I'm pleased to observe that I was perhaps the first person of all to suggest publicly that there was something fishy about the case. At least, mine is the earliest recorded mention that I can find of the possibility of Letby's innocence. In the description to this video I give a link to the video I released on August the 21st, 2023, entitled Is Lucy Letby Innocent? This was released on the very day that Letby was sentenced. One of the things which I find fascinating is the way in which this case has been racialised, and those suggesting that Letby might have been unjustly convicted dismissed by some people as racists. I find this odd. The reasoning seems to be that because some black people have been convicted of murder and nobody has challenged their convictions or raised doubts about the case, then it must surely be the case that there is only unease about Lucy Letby's conviction because she is white. This is, to my mind at least, a very odd idea. I have, of course, no idea at all if Letby is innocent or not, but that's not really the point. The only thing to consider is whether the prosecution evidence was such as to persuade us that on balance of probabilities she's guilty. You see, we have to assume innocence beforehand and then use only the evidence presented to make a decision about guilt. In this case, it looks increasingly likely that the prosecution evidence was flawed, and if that is so, then we are back to square one and must assume Letby to be innocent until fresh and more reliable evidence is presented.